I get an amen. Now, how about a hallelujah? You know what time it is. Time for the show with no name. Time for liftoff. Let's go, show with no namers. 5, 4, 3, 2,
1.
Come on.
0. Ignition.
I can't wait.
Liftoff.
Estoy ansioso. Tengo muchas ganas.
30 minutes after the hour.
I can't wait. I hope you feel the same. Here we go.
Get ready. Hold on to your hats. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts.
Hold on to your
Get
hats.
ready for the ride of your life.
The show with no
It's show with no name time.
on Vaughn Radio. Come on.
Let's go.
All right. Welcome, English explorers. Amazing amigos. Hey, I love my double alliteration. Even my name, Alberto Alonso. Amigos, we're going to play. We're going to have some fun. I'm going to challenge you. And most importantly, we're going to be doing something positive. Well, hey, you don't know. I mean, I see it all the time now. People walking around like zombies on their phones. You know, and I doubt the majority of them are practicing English. I imagine they're watching TikTok videos. Nice. But it's kind of a waste of time, isn't it? And time is money, amigos. It's the one thing we never get back. Because, okay, your car breaks down. Tienes el coche averiado. 1,000 euros, 1,000 pavos. Boom, right there, $1,000. You'll get that back if you work, right? You won't get that 1,000. You'll get another 1,000 down the road. And guess what? Then another incidental will come up. And that's the way it goes. That's how it works with our mistakes in English. We spot one. Divisamos uno. Lo identificamos. We try and visualize it. I always tell you with a common mistake, the best thing you can do is write it wrong. Yeah. Listen, though, I'm not done. Write it wrong and then cross it out. And then write it correctly below it. So not only do you know the right way to say it, but you know how not to say it ever again. And if we do that with all these common mistakes, sooner or later, you will master the language. And speaking of masters,
¿Te gustaría abrir puertas a nuevas oportunidades y estar listo para cualquier desafío? Con el máster de inglés del Grupo Vaughan podrás transformar tu futuro. Este programa intensivo te ayudará a dominar el inglés profesional, perfeccionar tu comunicación y ganar la confianza que necesitas para conseguir tus objetivos. Nuestros profesores Vaughan especializados te prepararán para afrontar en inglés todas las situaciones de comunicación en un entorno profesional. No dejes que el inglés sea una barrera. Invierte en tu futuro con el máster de inglés profesional del Grupo Vaughan. Llámanos al 91-133-5833 o entra en grupovaughan.com.
that's right. If you want more information about our master's program or anything, you can go to our website and contact us there, or you can reach out via social media. All right, amigos, it's time for today's pop quiz.
Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Yeah. Let's go. Pop quiz.
pop quiz. That's right, amigos. It is our pop quiz here on the show with no name. And a quick reminder, if you like challenges, if you like a little bit of trivia, if you want an opportunity to practice your English with your teachers, us, and your fellow classmates, each other, uno al otro, well, then come along May 6th. Apunta en el calendario, mark it in your calendars. May 6th, 2025 at 8 p.m., my good friend Kyle Miller will be hosting our upcoming Vaughn Radio Trivia Night. It's free. I mean, if you want to eat and drink, that's your thing. But, I mean, to show up, you can just show up, have a good time. And usually what happens is the people who go once usually repeat. And I've got to say, every month it's a bit different because Kyle's not going to do the same quiz as Richard, and Richard's not going to do the same quiz as Rob and Andy. So it's a little bit of a mishmash, if you will, right? A hodgepodge, un poco de todo. So mark your calendars, May 6th. And that's Kyle Miller. I'll be hosting, if you want to mark while you got your calendar out, I'll be hosting on June 3rd. June 3rd. They're both Tuesdays. The place is the Toast Tap Room. It's located in Malasaña in Madrid. And if you can make it, we'd love to see you. It's a great time. We always enjoy ourselves. And, we don't stay out late. It's a school night, como se dice en inglés. It's a school night, que hay que trabajar el día siguiente. But, couple hours, some English. You'll go home. I'll tell you this. You'll go home knowing more than when you came. That happens. Usually in a trivia, there are about 40 to 50 questions that you'll get. And I doubt you know them all. So it's interesting because the things you didn't know, you will know by the end, and you'll make new friends. I've seen it all the time. Yo soy tal. Yeah. And I've seen other students meet each other, and that's cool. Making, hey, you want to be on our team? Okay, Carmen. And then guess what? Next month, I should say. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Back again. So join us for our Vaughn Radio Trivia Night. You've got your May date, May 6th. And June 3rd. And stay tuned, because we also have something coming up, something really big, a great time of year for all of us. It's the book fair. So follow us on social media, and this way you will be in the know. All right, let's see what we've got for today's pop quiz. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of our materials at the Vaughn Tienda. It's vaughntienda.com. And this material is called Speak English B2. Okay. Now we have in this collection, we have Speak English A1 and A2. And then we've got Speak English B1. And then we've got Speak English B2. These are all available at vaughntienda.com. I've just shared the link with you. You've got downloadable audio, as always, that you can download because we all know how important the audio is. And we're going to hear some of that audio in just a little bit. As I said yesterday, and I've said many times, you'll hear every accent under the sun here at Vaughn in our materials, on our radio station as well. In this book, you'll get a little bit of everything a la Vaughn method, el método Vaughan. So that means phrasal verbs, vocabulary, pronunciation tips, grammar hacks. A hack también es un truco. Expressions, common mistakes, which I think it's great to know the common mistakes so you can avoid, right? You can avoid them at all costs. But how are you going to know if you're not aware of them? Si no eres consciente de ellos. So it's good to take a look at the common mistakes and say, esa hubiese caído en esa, or whatever, saying, I used to make that mistake. The good news when it comes to common mistakes, the ones we focus on are the ones that Spanish speakers make when they're speaking English. So it's not, mistakes that the Germans, see, the instead of the, they've got their own. They speak very well, but if we want to, be critical here and be purists, well, we can say it's not the train, right? It's not the weekend, it's the weekend, right? And I'm not, everybody's got their accent. But remember, I mean, even myself, I try to sound like you guys, and people say, where are you from? I can't, So I throw people off with my accent, but I'm always trying to sound more natural, more comfortable. And how do I do that? Well, the same way my daughter does it, and the same way it's always been done throughout the ages, por los siglos, and that is repeating what you hear exactly, like a parrot. Parroting es verbo, como todo en inglés. We can verbify that, and parroting everything you hear, whether it's a structure, whether it's a common mistake, whether it's a phrasal verb. And I urge you to do that every day here on the show, because you can just listen, or you can listen and practice your speaking at the same time. Speaking of practicing your speaking, this Friday, we've got our question of the week. We didn't have one last Friday because it was a holiday week, but this Friday we have our question of the week. And a nice round of applause for Anix, Cristina Chicago, Marisol, Chris Valrol, and Nudia, who have already sent me their participations. And guess what? You are in the soundboard. And once you're in the soundboard, mi mesa de mezcla, once you're in my soundboard, you're on the show on Friday. So if you want to participate, and I didn't read your name, obviously it means you haven't participated. Well, you've got not even 24. I was going to say 24 hours. No, you've got until the end of the day every Thursday, and we'll take a look at it on Friday. Again, this one was a suggestion from Chris Valrol. And Chris, thank God you participated. I was going to say, no puedes lanzar la pregunta y no participar tú, especially if it has to do with movies, because I'm sure everybody's eager to hear your feel-good movie recommendations. So that's what we're looking at. 3, I know, because we say 3, and I think, Chris, that's why you did it too. It's impossible to pick one favorite horror movie, one favorite comedy. Why? Because there are so many awesome movies. Not nowadays. I'm talking back in the day. And it's hard to choose. So your top 3 go to, como hemos dicho, que no te fallan nunca. No, you go to them when you need them. Your top 3 go to feel-good movies, where after you feel like you want to start a charity, quieres empezar una ONG, or you want to try and change the world, or you just got a big, huge grin on your face, una sonrisa. Another way of saying a smile is a grin. Y es muy importante saber esa si queremos decir es lo que hay. You have to grin and bear it. Grin is sonreír, as I just said, and bear it is aguantarlo. Traducción, ajo y agua. You guys are really funny with your idiomatic expressions. All right, this is from Speak English B2, and today we're going to be going into the kitchen. And as the expression goes, if you can't take the heat, stay out of the kitchen. Si no aguantas la presión, la tensión, no participes. But I hope that's not you. I hope you guys can take the heat. Here it is, a little excerpt from Speak English B2, which is available at the Von Tienda. And pay attention, because as always, I'll have a couple questions for you afterwards.
41 vocabulary in the kitchen. ¿Podrías pasarme la bandeja del horno? Could you pass me the baking tray? ¿Podrías fregar la cacerola cuando hayas terminado con ella? Could you wash up the saucepan when you've finished with it?
Asegúrate de no cortar carne en esta tabla de cortar.
Make sure you don't cut any meat on this chopping board.
¿Podrías meter la sartén en el lavavajillas, por favor?
Could you put the frying pan in the dishwasher, please?
¿Podrías rallar el queso, por favor? El rallador está en el cajón de arriba.
Could you grate the cheese, please? The grater is in the top drawer.
No pudieron usar ni la cacerola ni la bandeja del horno porque estaban muy sucias.
They couldn't use the saucepan or the baking tray because they were filthy.
¿Tienes alguna idea de dónde está el abrelatas?
Do you have any idea where the tin opener is?
No pude encontrar el cortador de pizza.
I couldn't find the pizza cutter.
Ella no pudo rallar la mozzarella con el rallador de queso.
She couldn't grate the mozzarella with the cheese grater.
Lo intenté, pero no pude quitar las manchas del colador.
I tried, but I couldn't get the stains off the colander.
Según la receta, tenemos que añadir jengibre.
According to the recipe, we have to add ginger.
Podemos echar nuez moscada para darle más sabor.
We can add some nutmeg to give it more flavor.
El bicarbonato está en el armario encima de la pila.
The baking soda is in the cupboard above the sink.
Necesito canela. ¿Tienes?
I need some cinnamon. Do you have any?
Hay levadura en la despensa.
There's some yeast in the store cupboard, or there's some yeast in the pantry.
Nos hemos quedado sin levadura. ¿Podemos usar bicarbonato en su lugar?
We've run out of yeast. Can we use baking soda instead?
Ahora puedes meter todo en el bol.
Now you can put everything in the mixing bowl.
¿Me pasas la cuchara de madera, por favor? Necesito remover la masa.
Can you pass me the wooden spoon? I need to stir the dough.
¿Puedo echar las virutas de colores ahora o tiene que enfriarse la tarta?
Can I add the sprinkles now, or does the cake have to cool off?
Antes de echar las virutas de colores, hagamos el glaseado.
Before adding the sprinkles, let's do the icing. Test yourself.
¿Tenemos que usar una sartén o una cacerola?
Do we need to use a frying pan or a saucepan?
No pude quitar las manchas de la tabla de cortar.
I couldn't get the stains off the chopping board.
¿Me puedes pasar el rallador, por favor? Necesito rallar el queso.
Can you pass me the grater, please? I need to grate the cheese.
Nos hemos quedado sin virutas de colores, pero podemos hacer un glaseado.
We've run out of sprinkles, but we can make icing.
¿De verdad vas a echar nuez moscada y jengibre a la masa?
Are you really going to add nutmeg and ginger to the dough?
¿Tienes alguna idea de dónde está el bol?
Do you have any idea where the mixing bowl is?
La levadura está al lado del bicarbonato en la despensa.
The yeast is next to the baking soda in the store cupboard, or the yeast is next to the baking soda in the pantry.
¿Conoces Weekend Town? La nueva iniciativa de Vaughan.
Pues no.
Es un fin de semana de inmersión en inglés. Y es nuevísimo.
A ver, cuéntame más.
Tendrás una inmersión lingüística total durante 2 días. Un total de 24 horas hablando con angloparlantes de todo el mundo.
¡Wow! ¡Qué interesante!
Ganarás confianza y soltura a la hora de comunicarte en inglés. Mejorarás tu comprensión auditiva y tus habilidades conversacionales en una situación de comunicación real en inglés. Ven a Weekend Town y te sorprenderás con todo lo que puede avanzar tu inglés en un fin de semana. Weekend Town de Vaughan. Un fin de semana de inmersión en inglés.
More information about Weekend Town, Vaughan Town, our masters, our summer camps, or even our materials, you can contact us via social media. If you're not following, follow along. It's Grupo Vaughan. We're on Twitter, Instagram, everywhere you are, we're there. I'm pretty sure, even TikTok. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me because I don't follow many social media accounts that teach English. Why? Well, it's too much. At one point, it was like, 5 palabras que debes saber. Everything was coming up in my feed, and I was like, okay, this is not... Okay, I like to know what's going on, but it was overwhelming, a little too much. All right, well, guys, let's see what we've got. Again, this is from Speak English B2, and it's available at Vaughan Tienda. As I said, it's part of a collection, but you can get them individually, right? So you can get this one, for example, the one we're looking at today, Speak English B2, you can get for €15.75. O se puede decir $15.75. Okay, $15.75. So just under €16. And as you heard, it's very, very useful stuff. We also have, if you're interested and you're going to be taking one of these exams in the future, well, we also can prepare you for your B1, your B2, your C1. These are the Oxford exams. So if you want more information about that, you can get that too by following us on social media. I've also shared that link. So I've shared 2 links with you here in the chat room. The first one is the material, the book, Speak English B2. So that's if you want to work on it on your own. If you're disciplined and you want to work on it on your own. If you want us to help you prepare for this exam, well, you've got that second link there, or you can even just Google Vaughan Examen Oxford, and you'll find, I'm sure it will be the first page that you find. All right, so let's take a look at some kitchen vocabulary. Wow, that was like a 2.5-minute audio, and it was chock full of amazing content. I mean, words you need to know because everybody cooks, everybody eats, everybody uses a kitchen, I imagine. So this is basic stuff you need to know. Aside from all the idiomatic expressions that have to do with food and the kitchen, you could go bananas. Volverte loco. You could go nuts. Mas. All right, let's see. Well, first, let me give you the 3 challenges, and then we'll take a look at some things that I wanted to highlight from that audio as well. I've already given you the expression, if you can't take the heat, stay out of the kitchen or get out of the kitchen. No, el out of the is out of the, outa. All right, the first one, I want you to use rayar el queso, okay? Or queso rallado, de ese concepto. Úsalo como tú lo usarías, ¿no? Me gusta poner queso rallado fresco en la pasta. There's one I think anybody, right? So, queso rallado. And it's not annoyed cheese. Folks. Oh, yeah. Estoy rayado. Rayado, I don't know if it's annoyed. Oh, and speaking of another vocabulary word, those of you who are watching the video, you're probably thinking, Alberto, why are you making that face like you're in pain? Well, I am. I'm not acting. And that face and that verb is to wince. When you wince, you're like, oh, you make that painful face. Wince se escribe. And there's a reason. I woke up this morning, and as I got out of bed, I tried to step, and my left ankle decided it wasn't going to support my weight. So I think I twisted it yesterday. Maybe I hurt it at the gym, but oh man, it hurts. And this morning I was rubbing some tiger balm, bálsamo de tigre. I was rubbing some tiger balm on it. So rayado. So that word is wince. Digo, ya de paso te explico por qué estoy poniendo esa cara y te doy también encima. Aquí no pone rayado. Oh, wow. Está rayado. Okay, here it is. Está rayado. La trata de dar vueltas a la cabeza. Yeah, I'm driving myself nuts. Okay. A ver, de otra forma. Yeah, I'm driving myself nuts. Para usar el mismo de antes. I'm driving myself nuts. Me estoy volviendo loco con el tema. Right? All right, so rayar, pero I'm talking about no rayado así. I'm talking about rayar el queso rallado. Use it however you want. That's number 1. The second one, you say pinzas, tenazas o tenacillas, it says here. These are really good if you need to turn over individual things. You know, it's really important to have the right utensil for the right job. Think about that. You know what I mean? Trying to pick up pasta with a fork, well, all the sauce falls through it, right? So you got to use the right utensil for each thing in the kitchen. I'm a firm believer of that. I mean, even down to the knife. If you use a butter knife to cut a tomato, it's going to be a disaster. You got to use a butter knife to spread butter or spread jelly or something. But if you try and cut a tomato, so I'm a firm believer. I love to cook, as many of you know. I don't have too much time, but I do love to cook. I'm a firm believer in using the right tool for the right occasion. And, well, this is a great one if you're making like asparagus, you're, putting it in a frying pan, friéndolo. Go fry asparagus. Bueno, eso es una en español. Con comida. I have a feeling we're going to be hungry by the end of today's show. So that one is tenacillas, pinzas, O tenazas. It's a utensil we use when we're cooking, right? The utensils, you can even, the things on the table too, your fork, your knife, your spoon. All right, and the last word, I want you to use despensa. That's the area where we store, almacenar, dry goods. And dry goods, justo como suena, ¿no? Son cosas que pues no se pasan. A ver cómo lo traduces aquí, dry goods. See, guys, I can learn some Spanish here. I'm sure I've heard it before, but I can't remember it now for the life of me. Dry goods. Productos, no, alimentos secos, really? Como harina, cosas en lata, things that you put in your despensa. I know that's what you call it in Spanish. Amigos, we've got to go to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with part 2. So stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to part 2. That's right, it's part 2 of today's show with No Name here on Vaughn Radio. So many people joining us here in the chat room, participating. And a shout out to all of you who listen later on. All you podcast listeners. You rock. Thank you for those numbers. Esas cifras. Wow. After all these years, people are still learning English with this guy who's nuts, who's bananas. But makes life a little more interesting when you're nuts. A little bit nuts. Chiflado, not loquísimo, right? I think we all know there's, oh my God, he's nuts. And, oh man, you're nuts. Igual que en español, right? También nuts son huevos. We don't say that, by the way. Manda huevos. ¿Qué huevos tiene? We don't say what eggs. We say a pair of balls. Pero también otra forma de decirlo es nuts. Nueces. Frutos secos. Me han dado una patada en los frutos secos. That's a good double trouble. What are you, nuts? I got kicked in the nuts. ¿Qué estás loco? Me dieron una patada en los huevos. All right, amigos, we're always playing with words and having fun here on the show with No Name. Let's kick off the second part of the show with the Say What soundbite. Come on! Say what? Yes! What? Come on, come on, come on. Say what soundbite. Hey guys, today your mouth is gonna water. We're talking about food, we're talking about cooking, we're talking about I'm reading some of your comments right now. Parmesano, oh my God. I'm hungry now. Oh boy, this is gonna be tough. Esto va a ser difícil hoy. If you hear me chomping the microphone, you'll know why. All right, folks, this is your Say What soundbite. As always, you're going to hear a famous person speaking. You'll hear this clip 4 times. At first, I want you to give me your take, tu opinión, lo que has oído. And by the last one, I want you to give it to me word for word. Now, today, like yesterday's Name That Movie, sometimes there's more action happening than words. So you have to listen carefully to get the context of where the scene is set. You say ambientado, if I'm not mistaken. So listen for those clues today, because as I just said, there's not a lot of text, but if you know what's happening, it might help you, put two and two together, as we say. Madre mía, hemos mirado muchas expresiones y vamos a ver más, que estamos en la cocina hoy. All right, here's your Say What soundbite for the first time.
19. Watch your step. And watch your hands, Mr. Kirkby.
I beg your pardon?
One of these days, I'm going to shut these doors on you and... 20 next.
All right, there you go. You don't have to worry about the guy's last name, Mr. You can make up the last name. Así me haces reír. So, yeah, don't worry about that too much. The last name, that's not an important thing for me in today's Say What soundbite. So just put Mr. Johnson if you'd like, or whatever, or put what you heard, but don't concentrate on that part. Concentrate on what's happening. See if you can get, today, not just the words, but I want you to, set the scene for me. There is a good sound effect there that can give you some context. And as we always say, context is key. It'll help you understand anything, even if you don't understand the words from the context. If somebody's saying, get the fuck away from there in Chinese, you're going to move because of the tone of voice, because of the gesturing, right? So, all right, my amigos, here's your Say What soundbite for the second time.
19. Watch your step. And watch your hands, Mr. Kirkby.
I beg your pardon?
One of these days, I'm going to shut these doors on you and... 20 next.
Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not sure yet. Can we touch base next week?
Touch base. Estamos en contacto, ¿no? Hablamos en algún momento. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play basketball?
Oh, man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports. But I don't know if I can this weekend because I've already got plans. Oh, man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not really a good player. If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer, or football, as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
It's par for the course. Es lo normal, ¿no? Es lo normalito, lo que se hace.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what about billiards? Do you like playing billiards?
Yeah, but right now I'm behind the 8 ball.
I'm behind the 8 ball. Estás detrás de la bola 8, como que llevas las de perder.
Yeah, wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que así da gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damian, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas. You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
vaughantienda.com.
It's the shit.
That's right, folks. This book is the shit, available at Vaughn Tienda, like many other amazing materials, such as Speak English B2, which we're going to take a look at your answers in just a moment. A lot of people participating. Excellent news. Awesome. I love to see you all driven, motivados. It's amazing. It's amazing. As I say, I was going to say myself, but all of us applaud you as people, your drive, your consistency, the fact that you're every day you're doing a little bit. I mean, that's how you do anything in life. And the most admirable part, you're doing it with a big smile on your face, not like, another fucking English class. Like, shit, I got to learn. Believe me, I've seen people with that attitude. I'm like, maybe you should try something else. Maybe English isn't your cup of tea. You know what I mean? Like, no worries. I'm not a gymnast. No hago gimnasia. And there's a reason for that. I'm not very graceful, elegante, when I move. Just ask my wife. But I knew that before I met my wife, and no, I'm not a gymnast. That doesn't mean I can't do it. It's also good to leave your comfort zone. But you guys have found a way to love the language, to be passionate about learning the language. And it's become more than just your English class. It's a clubhouse, una pandilla, ¿no? Nos unimos. We get together in our clubhouse. Hopefully it's a tree house. Las que están en los árboles, esos molan. And I think it's admirable. And I'm not the only one who thinks that. So you guys really, not just because you get it right or wrong. Let's put that aside. You're supposed to get stuff wrong. You're learning. Just the effort that you put in, your attitude, it is admirable. And anyone in any field could learn from you guys. Okay? And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, or else I wouldn't say it. Okay? I wouldn't waste my time saying it because we've got a lot of stuff to cover on today's show. So we're going to check your pop quiz answers. A couple things I wanted to review, though, from that audio that we heard. The British say, I'm going to do the washing up. We don't. We say, I'm going to do the dishes, or I'm going to wash the dishes. So a little difference there. I'm going to do the washing up. You won't hear in my country. I'm going to do the dishes, or más fácil, I'm going to put the dishes in the dishwasher. The dishwasher, right? Not to be confused with the washing machine and the dryer. Eso es la ropa, right? Well, the dishwasher, ¿cómo suena? Es el lavaplatos. What else? Baking soda. We call it soda, que lleva refresco, ¿no? Bicarbonato. So baking soda, si te acuerdas de eso, es más fácil. And to bake es hornear. Ojo con esa palabra. ¿Cómo pronunciamos la palabra horno en inglés? Oven. Dilo tú, ¿cómo se dice correctamente? Oven. Bueno, normal que lo pronunciáis mal, porque tiene una O, entonces quieres poner una O, y eso es como se hace en español, pero no en inglés. So just be aware. Just a couple things that, I think are worth pointing out. Vale la pena resaltarlos. A common mistake. Remove versus stir. Remueve la salsa. We say stir the sauce. Don't remove it. Remove it is quítalo. Si quieres decir quítalo del fogón, take it off the burner. But normally you're saying stir the sauce. Remueve. So careful with that one. Another one that's a false friend. Groceries. Comestibles. No son groserías. Right? I never, ever, you'll never hear me say to my friends in the States, I went to the supermarket today. I would say, I went grocery shopping. I picked up some groceries. Okay, and that means productos comestibles. Some other expressions as well. We already looked at, if you can't take the heat, stay out of the kitchen. What about too many chefs spoil the broth? This is a lot of times in companies, especially in government. Oh, madre mía, los políticos son, no, todos estos ministros de lo que sea. Too many cooks spoil the broth. Creo que es muy fácil si lo piensas. Demasiados chefs, cocinadores, cagan, destrozan el caldo, the broth. Okay, it means too many people intervening. It's not good. There needs to be maybe a leader and then the other ones. But if everybody's putting in their 2 cents, su grano de arena, I believe you say, their 2 cents, well, you're going to be there for a while. Okay. Simmer down. There's another one. Well, did you boil? We've looked at that one. It all boils down to, se reduce a, but also simmer is the point right before it boils, the boiling point, que se dice. And it's called, sometimes you'll see it, let the sauce simmer. If you haven't done it, watch some videos, learn a new recipe in English. It's a good way to learn some vocabulary. Yo he aprendido mucho viendo cómo se hace croquetas en España. Digo, mira, la masa, amasar, right? So these are all things that until you're exposed to them, until you do it, you won't know them. So I challenge you. There's a little challenge. The next thing you make, the next experiment you make in your kitchen, look at the recipe in English, whether it's a video or whether you're reading it from a website. Do it in English. You'll learn tablespoon, teaspoon, todas las medidas, right? Tablespoon es la que va en la mesa. Teaspoon es la pequeñita. So simmer. Also, we use simmer to say simmer down, tranquilízate. Simmer down, lo vimos el otro día con settle down. Es exactamente igual. Okay? Spill the beans. We looked at the word bean yesterday, looking at bean and bin. Spill the beans and tell me the secret. O sea, suelta la lengua, dime. All right? Here's one I love. To bite off more than you can chew. Pues tienes demasiado entre manos. Is that how you would say it? You bit off, porque bite, bitten. You bit off more, abarcaste más de lo que podías. No, cogiste más, abarcaste más de lo que podías. You bit off more than you could chew. And you know what happens then? Then you're in a pickle, as Laura taught us yesterday in the Italiano section. A very, very common one, too, very similar to bite off more than you can chew, is to have a lot on your plate. Tengo mucho entre manos, en mi plato, we say. So then what you have to do is you have to move things to the back burner. Quitarle prioridad a algo. Piénsalo, lo mueves al fogón de atrás. Ya no estás, ahora estás con otra cosa. So many things that come from it. And they all make sense if you think about it. The icing on the cake, the cherry on top, no las mezclamos, o una o la otra. Yo digo, en este caso, en los casos donde hay dos aceptables, coge la que te guste más, la que te sea más fácil, pero entiende las dos. So, that's the icing on the cake, la guinda. That's the cherry on top, but we don't say the icing on the top or the cherry on the cake. ¿Me entiendes? O sea, es frase hecha. Okay? To take something with a grain of salt. No lo tomes muy en serio. Don't take anything he says too serious. Take it with a grain of salt. He always exaggerates. You say tómalo con pinzas? Is that how you would say that one? I believe. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Es lo mismo que así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. Así se desmiga la galleta. Así es la vida. You have to grin and bear it. Como vimos antes. I know you know the word grill, right? Un grill, una barbacoa too, you can call it grill. Well, also to grill is to question someone intensively. The police grilled the suspect for 2 hours. No es que le pusieron a la parrilla, pero le hicieron, vamos, preguntas a tutiplén. Because what that criminal didn't know is you can't have your cake and eat it too. Que es otra expresión muy común, que es no puedes tener las dos cosas. You can't have your cake, tenerlo, and eat it too, y comerlo. O lo comes o lo tienes, o lo posees, right? A controversial topic is a hot potato, not to be confused with a couch potato. Uno que juega sillón bol, okay? And the last one, and then we're going to take a look at your answers, is to chew the fat. I always say it about Rob and Andy in the lunchtime show. They shoot the breeze, they shoot the shit, they chew the fat. They have a little bit of banter. It's cháchara. It's casual conversation. Y la última, es que te dije que era la última, pero me recuerda a otra. Es que hay tantas. Let's talk turkey. Hablemos en serio ahora. Ok, dejamos las tonterías a un lado. Guys, let's talk turkey. Vamos a hablar serio. Suena raro, ¿no? Vamos a hablar de pavo. Significa vamos a hablar de cosas frívolas. No, lo contrario. Let's talk turkey. So those are just, guys, a handful. What I've done there is I cherry-picked, una palabra que vimos antes del break, cherry pick, escoger las que más me gustan, las que más se ven en este caso, and the ones I think you need to know. So those are just some. But again, there are probably as many idiomatic expressions as recipes. Y cuidado con esa. A recipe is something you make. A prescription is something a doctor prescribes, right? Receta médica is a prescription. And una receta de cocina is a recipe. All right, let's see. Let's see who's in the house. Open Water says, good morning, friends. Good morning to you. Open Water's ready to rock. Open Water says, I've just sent my audio in the nick of time. Great, Open Waters. I'll take a look at it right after the show and get it into my soundboard ASAP. This way we get to hear your awesome voice tomorrow. There's German. Speaking of awesome, good morning, German. Great to have you with us. And he says, morning, stellar fellas. Estelar en inglés is stellar. No hay una E delante. Good morning. And I like the way that sounds, German. Stellar fellas. Me gusta, eh? Nice one. Nice play on words there. There's Chris Valrol, our movie queen. She says, morning, awesome show with no namers. Even 3 movies is Mission Impossible. See, Chris, I knew it. We can read each other's mind, Chris. And I knew that's why you said 3. I'm like, 3, bueno, en un minuto, pero también elegir uno es imposible. So I get it. Lo mismo con música, right? Your 3 favorite love songs. Only 3? Really? I can tell you a bunch of them that I listen to at any time of day, in any situation. And she says, there are too many cool movies. Well, as we said this week, we're not just looking at cool movies. The question is feel-good movies. Because another day we can look at comedies, right? We can revisit this topic, your top 3 must-see comedies. But this week, we're talking about feel-good movies, movies that you walk away with feeling good. You walk away from, feeling good with a big smile on your face. So thanks for your contribution there, Chris, and all of you who have participated. We'll take a look at that Friday on Question of the Week. Open Water says, I have to hide the grated cheese at the back of the pantry so that my son can't find it. Open Waters, what is it with grated cheese and kids? Mi hija también. My daughter is exactly the same. I'll make her some bolognese, like a pasta, with a meat sauce. You know what a bolognese is. And then I'll put some, grated Parmesan on top. And you can't see the pasta. And she goes, more, Dad. I'm like, try it first. We don't want it to be too salty either. And what she does is she just starts eating the cheese off the top. So, and she said to me the other day, she goes, Dad, I love Parmesano. I said, I know, Lara, I know. And then I told her, do you know I went to the factory where it's made? Up in Parma, or as my friends there pronounce it, Parma. They have almost like a French R up there in some of the villages in Parma, in that area. And I went to the factory and I bought Parmesan, the one, Parmesano Reggiano. Those are the regions. Everything else, it's like champagne. If it's not from Champagne, it's not champagne, right? It's brut, right? Brut is how we say cava, right? Que lo llaman bruto, fíjate. No es francés, es bruto. Oh, wow. So, yeah, what is it with kids? ¿De qué va eso? Niños y el queso rallado. It's like crack for them. Es como un tipo de crack. So, great. Did you catch what I did there? Great. Who's going to grate the cheese? I will. Great. Ahí tenéis un homófono. Great, genial. Suena igual que great, grate. Right? And it's a good way to remember it. Who's going to grate the cheese? I'll grate the cheese. Es regular. He grated the cheese. Por eso el adjetivo is grated. So grated cheese. Yummy. Yummy, yum. Whoever had the idea, let's take this block of cheese. Let's take a cheese grater. Así se llama el objeto, the utensil, a cheese grater, and put it on top of the pasta or whatever. A salad, una ensalada. Oh, wow. Yummy. Right? A Caesar salad. Oh, man. There's something magical. And you guys know I'm not a cheese lover. It's not my thing. But there's something about grated Parmesan cheese that just, man. All right. And the next one, let's see. Good chefs use tweezers to flip food. All right. Well, let me give you a round of applause. It's the same idea. But we use tweezers in English to pluck your eyebrow hair, right? Las cejas. Okay, so tweezers are more tenacillas de belleza. Okay, tweezers. Good word to know. That's why I gave you the applause, and you did a great job on the rest of it. But the ones in the kitchen are not called tweezers, although it's the same exact thing, except bigger. Normally, although some kitchens, I imagine, Michelin star kitchens, they take one little piece of a nut and a pine nut, un piñón, right? That's different. But I mean, the ones you take, you're making buffalo wings, and voy a darle una vuelta a cada uno individualmente. But we don't call them tweezers. All right, excellent effort. Open waters, great job. Chris Valrol says, I like grated cheese on pizza. It's delicious. You want to know the New York combo? You get a plain slice, un trozo de margarita, a plain slice, se dice. And then at every pizzeria in New York, you'll find it there. You don't even have to ask for it. You'll find grated cheese. I doubt it's Parmesano, maybe in some places. It's usually imitation stuff, So you'll find grated cheese. You'll find hot pepper flakes. O sea, las semillas de la guindilla, and garlic salt or garlic powder. And that combination is incredible on a plain slice. And you'll find that combo at every pizzeria in New York. I don't know if they do it in Chicago, but that's how we do it there. If you want it with the works, con todo, son those three spices there. Or, well, cheese isn't a spice, but those three things that you'll sprinkle. We looked at that word the other day, esparcir. Also, sprinkles are the things you put on ice cream, right? Las cosas de colores. Guys, oh my God, I can't believe it. We've got to go to a quick commercial break. Chris, we're going to pick up where we left off. I only got to read your first one. We'll read the other two and much more. So stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back. We're talking about pinzas, right? Tomar con pinzas, to take it with a grain of salt, right? Be skeptical. And we looked at tweezers, the ones you'll usually find in your toiletries bag. You say, neceser. Toiletries, cosas del toilet. Del váter. But we're still looking for the word of the ones we use in the kitchen. If we want to flip over a filet. Hey, I'm using a lot of French today. Pardon, monsieur and madame, mademoiselle. But we're not here to learn French. Maybe a little Italian from time to time. We're here to learn English and to play and to have some fun as we always do. We're going to kick off the second half of today's show with our homophone section. We're going to listen to our Say What soundbite for the third time and also hear your feedback on that. And then afterwards, we're going to go into our spelling bee. As always, one of the most challenging sections of the show. But today, we're going to my pretty, gritty city. We're going to New York, baby. The city so nice, they named it twice. New York, New York. And of course, as always, we've got Name That Lyric, Name That Movie, where we learn some English from pop culture. We've got famous birthdays, double trouble, you're joking, and so much to do in the second half of today's show. So, as we say, let's get going. Pongámonos en marcha with today's homophones.
Homophones, homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. 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 Show it no, show it no, show it no.
All right, amigos, welcome to our homophones section. Yeah, well, we're expecting some showers. Hey, we looked at a lot of weather vocabulary pretty recently. I don't know whether you remember it or not. I hope so. Because we don't say it's raining cats and dogs. We say it's pouring. It's right, una canción. It's raining, it's pouring, the old man is snoring. Yeah, the classic. All right, well, there's the first word. I expect you to know it. It's lluvia. Lluvia, llover. También es el verbo. Es que el inglés es facilísimo. Okay, so that is lluvia o llover. Okay, it also has other uses, which we'll take a look at as well. All right. And the second word I want you to give me is reinado mandato. También es reinar sobre. So, are you familiar with those two words? Do those two words sound exactly the same? Let me know in the comments. And as always, tons of people commenting here. I haven't even gotten to all your pop quiz answers yet. And many of you are participating in the Say What soundbite. So we're gonna listen to that now too for the third time. But let me just remind you, lluvia is the first one, llover. The second one is reinado, mandato. También es el verbo reinar sobre. Okay, that's your homophones section. I hope you can weather the storm. Vimos esa expresión también, capear el temporal. Capear, is that capar? Oh, I always get confused with that one. Sobrevivir. Vamos. All right, and let me give you the Say What soundbite. Here it is for the third time, amigos.
19. Watch your step. Man, watch your hands, Mr. Kirkby.
I beg your pardon?
One of these days, I'm going to shut these doors on you and... 20 next.
Listen carefully. Can you hear that? No. Listen closer. I'm not talking about the birds chirping. I'm talking about everybody speaking English and feeling comfortable. Listen. This is what it's like at Vaughntown, a peaceful place where you can really learn English and lose your inhibitions. There's a reason it's one of our star programs. Vaughntown, lose your fear of speaking English. If you want more information about this immersive experience, go to grupovaughn.com or give us a call, 911-385831.
Lose your fear of speaking English and express yourself with clarity at Vaughntown. That's right, folks. Vaughntown. You can learn English and have some fun and make friends and memories that will last a lifetime. It is Vaughntown. We've also got Weekend Town as well. All right, let's pick up where we left off. Vamos a retomar donde lo hemos dejado. Chris Valrol was telling us about grated cheese. Excellent stuff. She says, I like grated cheese on pizza. And I was telling you about the New York combo. Excellent job. The next one, she says, I like to use tongs when handling very hot foods. Tongs. Not to be confused with thongs. Tangas. O sea, añade una H a esa palabra, T-O-N-G, y pones T-H-O-N-G, que my spell checker, el autocorrector en mi móvil, se cree que hablo de tangas. Cuando pongo things, siempre pone thongs. And I'm like, why? When do I talk about thongs? Oh, man. So be careful with that one. Como no pronuncias bien, tongs, tongs, no es una O. Tongs could sound a lot like thongs. So just make sure you stick your tongue out when you do that TH there. All right, great job. That was the word I was looking for, tongs in the kitchen. And let's see, Chris says, I'm very sensitive to heat. I like to have things in the pantry, but not too much. All right, the pantry. Nobody's used the other word yet. It's okay. I'll give it to you because they used two words. Do you remember? They said the pantry or the... All right, well, let's see. There's lovely Laura. Hello, Laura. Awesome job in the section yesterday. I hope we're doing well, too, and learning along with you. I try, as you know, I leave my microphone on, and I try and do what I tell you to do and repeat what I'm hearing when I hear it, right? So hopefully we're doing our job in that section. You're definitely doing a wonderful job. It's really interesting because we're not just learning idiomatic expressions in Italian and English, but we're learning the ins and outs of the language, little tricks, little hacks. And I think we all know the more languages you speak, the easier it is, I should say. So good morning to you, lovely Laura. And she says, take care of yourself, AA. Yeah, I think I overdid it. You say I passed it 3 towns. Me pasé 3 pueblos. I think I overdid it at the gym yesterday. And it didn't hurt after the gym. I stretched, I did my usual routine. And then in the middle of the night, I had to wee. To wee is another way of saying to go pee-pee. And I was like, oh, wow. And this morning I thought, okay, well, maybe I was just sleeping in the middle of the night. I didn't think anything of it. Pasé de ello. Digo, estaba durmiendo en un ángulo raro. Maybe I was sleeping. But this morning when I was like, I can't really put any pressure on it. I can't step. So I'm sure it's fine. I hope it's fine. But keep that tiger balm coming. Ese bálsamo de tigre. Let's see. Laura says, I always grate some Parmesan cheese on my pasta. Oh, yeah. There's nothing like fresh grated Parmesan. You can buy the stuff in the store that's grated. But I remember my grandma, when she would say, you want some Parmesano? And I would say, yeah. She would come by with a block of cheese, and it said Parmigiano Reggiano, on the label. And she would come around and she would grab the cheese grater and just grate it fresh. I do the same with Lara. Okay, you can use the bag stuff, but it's just not the same. So excellent. The next one, I use wooden tongs to take the bread out of the toaster. Great. And she says, I like to have a well-furnished pantry. Another way you can say it too, a well-stocked, right? Stocked is abastecido, stock. So a well-stocked pantry. All right, great job. Chris Valrol, Open Waters, and Laura in our pop quiz, Born to Iron Man as well. He says, do you sprinkle, great word, we just looked at it as well, and it was in the audio. Do you sprinkle grated cheese over the top of your pizza? Oh, hell yeah. The next one. If you has... Wait, Ya tenemos algo aquí que no me cuadra. If you has. Okay, if you have, porque you con has, no, has tiene que ser it, he o she delante. Vamos a ver toda la frase. If you has stung with that rose bush, you can get the splinter out with tweezers. Okay. I got you. I know what you're saying. So if you had pricked your finger, to prick your finger, because to get stung is a bee. La idea es igual, ¿eh? Una avispa. Bzz, right? Ow, I got stung, me picó. But we don't use pero por eso lo estamos mirando. Genial, Born to Iron Man. So you get stung. So if you had gotten stung, pero ya entonces no vale para eso. So if you had gotten pricked by that rose bush, to get pricked is con una a thorn, como decís, thorn, lo que tienen las rosas. That mean, or even with a cactus, right? Espina o pincho, a thorn. Espina o pincho. That picar is to prick your finger. Okay? And prick también es polla. FYI. But hey, just telling you the double troubles out there so you don't get in trouble with that word prick, que también es capullo. What a dick. What a prick. O sea, se puede usar igual que dick. Okay? Menos que dick no significa me echo pupa al dedo con un cactus o with a thorn. And any fans of the hair bands? Poison. Every rose has its thorn. Just like every night has its dawn. Just like every cowboy sings a sad, sad song. Every rose has its thorn. Tiene su espina, su pincho. Just don't get pricked by it. All right. And to get stung, as we said, is more because of a bee. Right, a bee will sting you. And the word splinter, it's interesting because from a rose bush, you wouldn't get a splinter. You get a thorn. I got a thorn. I got pricked by a thorn. Splinter, pero perfecto. Born to Iron Man porque tenemos que ver esto. Splinters from wood, astilla. So they're all related, but a little bit there, those nuances is just it's like tongs and tweezers. Depends where you're using them. Depends on their size, usually as well. And their use, right? Are you using it to pluck your eyebrows? Ahí tienes el verbo. To pluck your eyebrows or to flip some chicken wings. All right. And the last one. My grandma used to keep olives, almonds, ... in the pantry. Great. Everybody said pantry. Nobody said cupboard. Vamos a ver esa palabra, cupboard. Se escribe cupboard, pero no se pronuncia así. Okay, ojo, ponlo todo junto, cupboard. Literalmente una tabla para poner los vasos. It kind of makes sense. What is a cabinet? Right? It's a board where you put cups. But we don't call it cupboard, we call it cupboard. Cub. La P es totalmente muda. Y board is bird. Cupboard. It's in the cupboard. There's a famous nursery rhyme. Old Mother Hubbard in the cupboard. I don't remember. Eating her curds and whey. I don't remember the exact. It's been a while. But cupboard or pantry, where you keep dry goods, canned things, pasta, things that don't go bad, or spoil, things that don't go bad too quickly, that you can store, almacenar, for a while. All right, great. And Born to Iron Man says, excuse me. Oh, I must apologize for my impolite behavior. Good morning, friends. Good morning. Don't worry, Born to Iron Man. I imagined a good morning in there before you even started it. All right, let's see. Open Waters talking about today's Say What soundbite. Open Water says, I heard an woman. I've never seen that mistake before. That's yours. I heard a woman, right? No es an, porque ahí no empieza con sonido vocal, es con el w. So I heard a woman. I think she is American, and she's warning someone else to watch his step and his head at the end of the audio. I'm not sure if she says something about an egg. Well, good ear, but there's nothing about an egg. Let me just check. No, she does not say the word egg. But hey, great. Now we can rule it out. Lo podemos descartar. So great. Good guess. Yeah, but there's something about watching your step, watch your head, your hands, maybe. All right. Well, let's see what Chris Valrol heard. She says, I heard an American woman who seemed to be calling people in roll call. Cuando ves quién está en la clase. She told a man to walk carefully. It could be a doctor's office? No, but I asked you to tell me what you heard, so it's not wrong, and the English is correct. So great job, Chris. Let's see, Laura. I heard an excerpt from an American movie. The scene may be a set in a restaurant's kitchen, maybe set, ambientado, in a restaurant's kitchen where a woman is calling out the orders and telling a man to watch his step and his hands as she wouldn't like to shut the doors on him. All right, I'll tell you what. We're going to make this easier for everybody right now. This might even help you. It's in an elevator. It takes place getting off of an elevator, bajándote de un ascensor. Okay? If you heard. So maybe los números ahora pues, esos son las plantas. Claro, planta tal. Hey, just trying to, you guys got it. You got, now maybe with that information, you can put it all together, but it takes place in an elevator. Okay. A lift if you're British. All right, let's see. Chris says, I had to eat some nuts. So much talking about food. I'm hungry. Yeah, I know. Same here. The only thing is I can't eat during the show because I don't know about you. If you guys have ever tried this, try eating and then try talking. It's not a good thing. You want to kind of digest things because then what happens is when you're talking, you're like, the food is digesting in there. So your teachers, your radio presenter teachers who are in front of a microphone usually don't eat right on top of the show because you'll hear the digestion process. So I can't. I'd love to, but I can't. So have some nuts for me. And what a great snack. Nuts. They give you that stored energy. Hablando de almacenado. Open Water says, Chris, that's the way the cookie crumbles. German says, I'm having some spaghetti and tuna, Chris. I was literally starving. Guys, stop. You're going to make me hungry. Jeez. All right, let's see. Today's homophones. Born to Iron Man gives us the two correct words, and he says they sound the same. Let's see. German says they're homophones. Open Waters says they're homophones. Sophia, Laura, and Chris. Well, I trust you guys. But even if I didn't trust you, they are homophones. But I trust you. If you say they are, they are. Yeah, rain. It's going to rain tomorrow. How long did Louis XIV, no me sé los reyes, no me lo estoy inventando, Louis el 14. I studied that shit, but I forgot about it. How long was his reign? How long did he reign for? So they sound exactly the same. Also, the reins, normalmente en plural, las riendas, right? And that's R-E-I-N-S. So technically we have three homophones here. It rains, grab the reins, coge el control, las riendas, and how long was his reign? Or how long did he reign for? Excellent job, my amigos. All right, are you ready for today's Spelling Bee?
Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee.
All right, folks, this is round one. Round one of your spelling bee. I told you we were going to New York. Here we are in downtown Manhattan, so I'm going to have to speak up because there's a lot of background noise. And if you've ever talked on the phone walking down a New York City street, that should be an Olympic sport in its own. What? All right, so here we go, amigos. Here's your spelling bee. Let's capitalize the first letter of every word just for the sake of simplicity. We've got some numbers in here, so pay attention. The first one is 792 space FEET. The second one is 241 space METERS. The third one is 233 space BROADWAY. The fourth one is TRIBECA. The fifth one, CASS space GILBERT. And the last one is NATIONAL space HISTORIC space LANDMARK. There you go. We'll see if anybody got them on the first go. Don't forget, you are going to get a second chance in just a moment. But I've given you a little clue. We are going to New York City today, the pretty, gritty city. Let's see. German says, when is the sky going to deign to rain in this godforsaken rain? Deign. I've never used that word. Now you're teaching me a word here. Deign? A ver. Deign, no lo encuentra. Deign, dignarse. Whoa, wow. You know what? I've never used that word in my life. Nice one, German. You're teaching the teacher some words. Also, I've never heard it either, so it's not a very common word. Or I would say at least where I grew up. All right, let's see. There's Born to Iron Man taking a stab at it. Let's see. The first one is correct. The second one is also correct. So is the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Let's see. Open Waters. Round one. Let's see. Open Waters. The first one is correct. The second one is... All right, no problem. You've got another round there. Chris Van Roll. First one, perfect. Second one, perfect. Third one, too. Fourth, fifth, and sixth. Give it up for Born to Iron Man and Chris Van Roll. Here's round two. Now, I'm going to say the numbers as I normally would say them, not 792, sino 792. Okay, porque es más normal. Okay, so number one, 792 space FEET. The second one is 241 space METERS. The third one is 233 space BROADWAY. The fourth one is TRIBECA. The fifth one, CASS space GILBERT. And the last one is NATIONAL space HISTORIC space LANDMARK. Folks, wrong one. That's the one. I was like, wait a second. Something doesn't sound right there. All right, folks, we'll be right back with the rest of today's show, so stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to part 4 of today's show with no name. Wonderful job. You folks are kicking ass today, and you can keep kicking ass after today's show with my great friend Jimena Holiday and Test Your English. After that, a little bit of banter. Shoot the shit. Shoot the breeze. O como vimos antes, chew the fat. Chew the fat. Masticar la grasa. Chew the fat with Rob and Andy on the Lunchtime Show. You've also got Jules Linares. And let's get random. The Salad with Dave Boys. Kyle Miller's Drive Time. Frankly Speaking, hosted by Chris Frank. Richard Vaughn Live. Do I have to tell you who that's hosted by? I think you know. The man with the plan. The one and only Richard Vaughn. You've also got the Hour to Empower with Jessica Fernandez. The Pro Bow Show with Rob Grams. What a way to start your day. Hey, I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. And right before this show every day, I can't think of a better way to warm up for this show than with my buddy Fitz and his master class, No Excuses. Download the Vaughn Radio app so you have no excuses. All right, folks, it's time for Double Trouble. Come on.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble.
That's right, amigos. Double trouble here on the show with no name. All right, let's see what we've got. There's your first clue. All right. You got to use, did I say double? Oh, wait. Sorry. Triple trouble today. Triple. Means you have to use the same word 3 times. I know you know that. Sé que eres policía, pero no puedes meter mano. Es una excusa. Mala excusa, debería decir. Okay? So, sé que eres policía, you can say. Pero yo creo que es poli porque es como una otra forma de decirlo, que no es police officer. Sé que eres policía, okay? Pero no puedes meter mano. Esa es una excusa barata, una mala excusa. All right? Hopefully, hey, we were just talking about no excuses. I didn't do that part on purpose. So, sé que eres policía, pero no puedes meter mano. Es una excusa mala. There's your triple trouble. Also, I need to give you today's Say What soundbite for the 4th and final time.
19. Watch your step. And watch your hands, Mr. Kirkby.
I beg your pardon?
One of these days, I'm going to shut these doors on you and... 20 next.
¿Qué tiene que ver la Universidad de Oxford con Vaughan? Pues muchísimo. Es una alegría anunciar que Vaughan ha sido certificado como centro examinador de Oxford Test of English. A partir del próximo mes de marzo 2023, podrás hacer los exámenes de Oxford Test of English en los centros de Vaughan. Si quieres más información sobre esta iniciativa de Vaughan y Oxford, puedes ver más en nuestra página web, grupovaughan.com. o bien síguenos en redes sociales para más información. Oxford Test of English con Vaughan.
Brilliant!
That's right, it is brilliant. And speaking of brilliant, great job to all our amigos who got the spelling bee today. Born to Iron Man, Chris Valrol and Laura. Perfect. Open waters, a little mistake, a couple mistakes I saw in yours, but don't worry. As I said, the good thing is you do have a second chance. You don't always get that in life, as we all know. All right, but before we take a look at our spelling bee words, let's see if anybody got today's triple trouble. Let's see. Chris Valrol is taking a stab at it, and she says, I know you're a cop. Perfecto. But you can't cop a feel. Perfecto. It's a cop-out. Wow, Chris. Perfect. Perfect. So, acuérdate la pronunciación también. Cop. Como cuando vas al médico. I know you're a cop. Porque cup es taza. Cup. Hablando de recetas. 1 cup of flour. Cup. And cap es lo que yo llevo, el tipo de gorra de béisbol, right? So Chris says, I know you're a cop. Sé que eres poli. But you can't cop a feel. To cop a feel is to try to touch somebody inappropriately. And the last part, it's a cop-out. A cop-out is an excuse, usually a really bad one. And you know what? I've got another student who didn't cop out, and that's German. So great job, Chris and German. You got all 3 words, and it's grammatically correct. So what more can I ask for? Excellent job. So I know you're a cop. Pronúncialo conmigo. Vamos a pronunciar las 3 palabras. The cop with a cap, con gorra, was drinking from a cup. The cop with a cap was drinking from a cup. Sé que es lioso, por eso lo hemos destacado. Excellent job, Chris and German. All right, our spelling bee really quickly. Well, we were going to New York City to the area of Tribeca, the triangle below Canal. Tribeca. What? Yeah. Soho, south of Houston. Dumbo, down under the Manhattan Bridge overpass. Y así todo el día. Yeah, I swear to God. Well, today in 1913, the Woolworth Building was officially opened. Now, if you are not familiar with the Woolworth Building, this is one of these buildings that still makes up New York City's skyline. And it has since 1913. Do you know how many buildings have not stood the test of time? Because, we can make one bigger, more modern, use the space better, whatever, lighter materials, who knows? But this one has stood the test of time, and it's a gorgeous building. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now, Woolworth, that was the name of the guy who built it. He paid in cash to have it built. And Woolworth, for those of you who didn't grow up in the United States, Woolworth's, which was the name of his stores, his chain of stores, was a 5 and dime store. 5 and dime, de 5 céntimos y 10 céntimos. O sea, todo a 20 duros would be the equivalent. It was where you could get things and nothing was excessively expensive. So the 5 and dime, you'll hear it in a Prince song. I was working at the 5 and dime. She wore a raspberry beret. And I'm sure it's in many other songs. 5 and dime. And, Woolworth, the guy who started that chain, also built this skyscraper, which stands at 792 feet. That was number 1. In meters, 241 meters. That's number 2. Number 3, 233 Broadway. That's the address. Number 4 was Tribeca, not Tribeca, Tribeca. And that's the neighborhood. It's downtown Manhattan. And number 5 is Cass Gilbert. That's the architect/designer. And number 6 was National Historic Landmark, because it eventually went on to become a National Historic Landmark. That was in 1983. Translation, you cannot tear this piece of history down. So check it out if you want to see it. It's one of the most beautiful buildings in New York City to date, and it's been around since 1913. Google Woolworth Building and just enjoy the beautiful architecture that it's missing. You know, that artistic flair is arte that's missing from a lot of modern buildings. All right, amigos, it's time to move on, though. We're going to the movies. Name that movie. All right, folks, name that movie here on the show with no name. Here we go. Two newly paired cops. Ya sabes pronunciarlo, ¿no? Que no es cup or cap. It's cop. Two newly paired cops who are complete opposites must put aside their differences in order to catch a gang of drug smugglers. Sounds like my kind of flick. All right, so two newly paired cops. Eso pasa en muchas películas, right? De policías. And, oh, you're my new partner. Oh, man, we're exact opposites. It's a very common concept in Hollywood. We've seen it a million times. But this is probably one of the best combos. It's hard to say that. You got Tango and Cash, right? Remember Tango and Cash? Oh, man, love that. Love that movie. Kurt Russell and Sylvester Stallone. That was a great one. And then you got Bad Boys, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. They're called cop buddy films. No, amigos, policías, colegas. Okay. So, two newly paired cops who are complete opposites. Y ojo con esa. No opposite, sino opposite. No sabes las veces. Bueno, entiendo el por qué, porque site, si lo quitas, a campsite es un lugar de camping, right? But cuando lo ponemos como terminación es sit, opposite. De hecho, piénsalo así. I'm going to sit opposite you. Sit opposite. Se pronuncia igual que sentarse. Okay, it's a good way to remember it. And they are complete opposites. They must put aside their differences. Solo del contexto está claro. Son opuestos y tienen que dejar a un lado sus diferencias. They have to put aside their differences in order to, con el fin de, catch a gang of drug smugglers. And to smuggle is to try and bring it across different borders, right? So smuggle, you say contrabanda, contrabandista, a smuggler, okay? Let's see if anybody recognizes this movie. It's Chris Van Roll. It's Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon, one of the greatest cop movies out there. Oh, I should say series of movies starring Mel Gibson. I know you guys say Gibson, but that's not his name. It's Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, Gary Busey. And a lot of the times I find myself using Danny Glover's favorite line or his catchphrase, su frase látigo, you say? Su frase celebre. I'm getting too old for this shit. I'm getting too old for this shit. Man, Lethal Weapon. And you want to know something? One of my earliest memories of Madrid has to do with Lethal Weapon. What? What does that have to do with Madrid? It takes place in the United States. It was filmed in the United States. No Spanish actors that I know of in it. Well, I remember the first time I walked down the Gran Via with my family, and there was a huge Lethal Weapon poster. And I associated that trip with one of the things that caught my eye was this huge poster. Now it's normal. You like Broadway, like Gran Via, you walk down it and they've got these huge marquesinas, right? And I'll never forget. What I don't remember is if it was Lethal Weapon or Lethal Weapon 2, but I just remember we went into a typical bar de tapas, and right It was right under the sign, and the sign was huge. And it's funny, the things you remember. And, well, once you see those movies, they are just awesome. Directed by Richard Donner. The Goonies. Hello. The Goonies. One of the, talk about feel-good movies, right? That one makes you laugh, brings you on an adventure, and at the end, they all lived happily ever after. Sorry, I didn't mean to spoil The Goonies, but it has been out for decades now. No cuenta, con una película de 20 años, no cuenta spoilers, guys. It means if you haven't seen it yet, that's your fault. So, excellent job. It is Lethal Weapon. And let's see what we've got here in our scene that I've chosen for you. Roger Murtaugh says, okay, clown, payaso, lo decimos igual. No bullshit. Deja de tonterías. No bullshit. You want to kill yourself? Te quieres matar. Te quieres suicidar. You want to kill yourself? And Martin says, oh, for Christ's sake. For el amor de Dios. For Christ's sake. And Roger cuts him off. Le interrumpe. And he says, shut up. Yes or no? You want to die? And Martin says, oh, I got the job done. Hice lo que tú cumplí. I got the job done. What the hell do you want? ¿Qué demonios quieres? And Roger screams, just answer the question. And Martin says, well, what do you want to hear, man? You know, when he does his crazy eyes, what's his name? Mel Gibson does the crazy eyes. What do you want to hear, man? You want to hear that sometimes I think about eating a bullet? Comiéndome una bala? Huh? Well, I do. I've even got a special bullet for the occasion. No bullet. I've got a special bullet for the occasion with a hollow point. Que además le he hecho hueco en la punta, que hace que penetra mucho más, hace mucho más daño al penetrar. A hollow-tipped bullet, hollow point. Make sure it blows the back of my goddamn head out and do the job right. O sea, que explota like Kennedy, right? Y hacerlo bien, correctamente. Every single day I wake up and I think of a reason not to do it. Every single day. You know why I don't do it? This is going to make you laugh. You know why I don't do it? The job. Doing the job. Now that's the reason. What a great movie. It's Lethal Weapon. All right, folks, time to move on to You're Joking.
Thank you. Okay, what did the guy say when he walked into the bar? Ouch. Ouch. You get it? Ouch. He walked into the bar. You're joking.
All right, folks, hang on tight. I've got some awesome jokes coming your way. The first one, did you hear about this? This happened recently here. Someone broke into the police station, okay? La comisaría. Somebody broke in, entró a la fuerza. Somebody broke into the police station and stole all the toilets. Todos los váteres, yeah. And now police say they have nothing to go on. Oh, no. Jeez Louise. Oh, God. No. We have nothing to go on. To go to the bathroom? You have nothing to go on? No tienes váter donde... You have to go? Yeah, I gotta go. En ese significado es ir al baño. Y when you gotta go es la expresión. So they have nothing to go on. No tienen donde hacer sus necesidades. But also, you'll hear this in any cop movie. No tenemos pistas. We have nothing to go on. No tenemos información. No tenemos pistas. No tenemos nada. We have nothing to go on. You get it now? They stole the toilets. We have nothing to go on. The next one. Did you hear that the celery? Yeah, eso es el apio. Did you hear that the celery got arrested? Yeah, they charged him with stalking. Oh, God. No, I didn't. Oh, man. No, I know you know stalking. He's a stalker. Alguien que persigue, un acosador. But also a stalk is tallo, caña, troncho. It's a part of a plant. And celery, un palo de apio se llama a celery stalk. You get it now? Oh, geez, Louise. The celery that got arrested, they charged him with stalking. Oh, my God. All right, last one. The officer says, dice el policía, why did you park here? Me, my answer, the sign says, fine for parking. No? The sign says, fine for parking. La señal pone perfecto para aparcar, genial para aparcar. Pero también fine for parking es una multa por aparcar. All right, amigos, not the best jokes in the world, but I'll tell you what, we've got to move on to famous birthday trivia.
Famous birthdays for you. Famous birthdays for me. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name. Famous birthdays for him. Famous birthdays for her. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name.
All right, here we go with today's famous birthdays. We've got to put the pedal to the metal. The first one was born today in 1942, an American singer, actress, songwriter, producer, and director. She has done it all. Lo ha hecho de todo. And man, she won the Academy Award for Funny Girl in 1968. And that was just the beginning. She has albums that are platinum. She's got Academy Awards. She is basically someone who can do whatever she wants. And again, she was born in 1942 and she's still doing it. Okay, she's still producing, acting, writing songs. And there's even an effect named after her. An effect. When you don't want people to talk about something, it's better to ignore it. If you bring it to someone's attention, then everyone's going to talk about it. So it happened with her house. Some photographers for a real estate site, I think it was, took some pictures, some aerial shots of her home. And nobody knew about it. Then she made a formal complaint, and now everybody knows. So it had the opposite effect. It's if you don't want people to talk about something, maybe you shouldn't either. That's number one. Number two, the director of The Goonies. I just said it. Also, Lethal Weapon, the buddy cop, as I said, the buddy cop genre. And, well, he did Scrooged too, which is Los fantasmas atacan al jefe. And last but not least, acting royalty. Her reign is continuing, just like number one, reinado. And she is an American actress, singer, and dancer. She's won it all as well. She's been in so many movies around the world in 80 days. The Apartment, The Children's Hour, Sweet Charity. She was also in Terms of Endearment, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, and so much more. She is acting royalty. All right, today's three famous birthdays. Number one, Barbra Streisand. Number two, Richard Donner. And number three, Shirley MacLaine. Shirley MacLaine. And that's going to bring us to our Say What soundbite. This is Shirley MacLaine in The Apartment. In 1960, she plays an elevator operator. And she says, 19, like Planta 19, watch your step, cuidado donde pisas. Then Mr. Whatever smacks her butt, le dan el culete, un cachete. And she says, watch your hands, Mr. Whatever. Cuidado con esas manos. He goes, I beg your pardon, perdona. I beg your pardon. And then she says, one of these days, I'm going to shut these doors on you. And then she says, 20 next, la planta 20, próxima. So here she is, Shirley MacLaine in The Apartment.
19. Watch your step. And watch your hands, Mr. Kirkby.
I beg your pardon?
One of these days, I'm going to shut these doors on you, and 20 next.
All right, folks, that applause is for you. Wonderful job today, as always. And we're going to end today with Barbra Streisand, the birthday girl, and her song, which is an excellent idiomatic expression. We also looked at the word today, rain. Don't rain on my parade. No me amargues la fiesta. Don't rain on my parade by the one and only Barbara Streisand. And as she has a nickname as well, Babs. They call her Babs. So thank you once again to all of you. Excellent job. Don't forget to participate in our question of the week, and we'll be back tomorrow with more, amigos. Ciao for now. Don't let anybody rain on your parade.
To live, just sit and putter. Life's candy and the sun's a ball of butter. Don't bring around a cloud to rain on my